Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Here I am in this park in Southfield, and this video is about the people who are passing out anti-Semitic flyers. Needless to say, I want them to stop doing that because it has made it so that the police have more of an eye on me. That's part of their psyop. They try to create a pretense to keep an eye on me so that as people get aware, the fact that they're running a psychological operation on me, that it's harder for them to kind of help me out in that sort of legal way, right? They're concerned with the legality of it. They don't care about the severity of the situation and how it ruins the country and how it, people lose their rights and they're becoming more and more enslaved. So why they handed out those flyers has to do with a lot of things. The fact that our political system is pure evil, right? You have conservatives who are obviously evil. They're trying to conserve the rules, customs, and traditions of this country, which were historically evil. Whether there was slavery or segregation, or they just desegregated, or it's the current time. It's always been a very evil and corrupt system, and everyone knows that. And a very racist system that tries to make white Christians and other types of elitists seem superior. And obviously some white Christians are poor, but you get what I'm saying. That has always been the way things work. That has always been the way they think. So when we see people like Tuberville arguing that people need to assimilate or go home, and you see them running a psychological operation against them that favors the right? So who benefits from them passing out anti-Semitic flyers? Do I? No. I don't benefit in the slightest. And I usually don't stay up that late, So it apparently happened in the late last night. My parents could easily account for where I am. I'm sure the law enforcement has been keeping an eye on me, and I'm under 24-hour surveillance on top of that. So it's clear that it's not me. And many, many people know that because they're working together to do things like that. Okay. So when we look at the conservative agenda, right, we see that there's a sick corporate and social club plan to enslave you under the assimilate argument. He basically had a sign in his video that said assimilate or go home. Okay, that is unbelievable. And then there's the wordplay, right? The word assimilate has the word ass in it. And the word home is a play on words for homie. And it's not a coincidence. These people love that kind of Masonic wordplay. They're basically saying be their sex slaves or leave. That's why they're not fixing the economy, because when people are desperate, they prostitute themselves. What is the number one reason females prostitute themselves on the streets, for example? For money. What is the number one reason that females sleep with their bosses? For money. And there's various degrees of coercion and so on and so forth. So if you mess up the economy, you're trying to hold the population. And if you play dumb about that and you threaten the population subtly, you're terrorizing the population. So I've just definitively established for people who are a little bit less than average intelligence, all the way to the smartest of us, which is me, that they are trying to terrorize the population. And they're trying to confuse you about who's doing what and why. But you have to understand who ultimately controls the situation. Okay, the governing class, they use the FBI, the CIA, the science departments of the military, they use the National Guard, local law enforcement, and on and on and on, right? COs in prison. Everyone knows that they work together, the good old boy network, what have you. So we see a concerted effort. We see a clear-cut collaboration that's taking place. We're not talking about crazy conspiracy theories. We're talking about verified facts. And on top of that, to make matters more interesting, a lot of conspiracy theories people doubted before have turned out to be true. So it's quite the mess for the governing class, but because people are so quick to be complacent, smug, complicit, apathetic, indifferent, we see the massive failure of society. Now you gotta understand that I'm not a racist person. No one resents racism more than I do. I grew up in California. We're supposed to be the most liberal state, but I lived in a place that was like 2% black in Santa Clara County by San Jose, the San Jose Sharks, what have you. And I was shunned to a large degree, but it's more than just race. It has to do with the fact that there's a bunch of organizations that control things. Okay? If you look at the split of the pie, it gives away the story. Like the English would say, right? Tally ho.